Hi Becky, how you doing?
Hi,
Come on in.
Thanks for seeing me.
Are you okay with the doors staying open?
Oh, sure.
Okay, great. So how are things going so far for you at DMU?
Well, it's been a tough adjustment since undergrad, but I think I'm doing okay overall.
Oh, good. Well, I made an appointment to see you because I see that you failed 2 anatomy exams, and I want to speak to you about your study habits.
Yeah, I also got this letter from the Academic Performance Committee. They have all these suggestions, but I'm not really sure I need to do all this.
Well, yeah, the APC is informing you that you're having academic problems. So let's talk about how things are going. Can you tell me why you think you're having problems?
I'm not sure. I think I'm studying a lot. I mean, I feel like I am studying a lot, and I'm doing okay in my other courses, but I can't seem to remember all the details in anatomy, and I guess I'm just kind of freaking out.
So how do you study for your courses?
Usually alone. I review the PowerPoints and the notes and the recordings on the evening of the class, and I write out any notes of material that I might have missed, and then I do the same thing right before the test.
Okay. Do you always study alone, or do you sometimes study with others?
Well, usually alone. Sometimes I have a friend and we ask questions together.
Okay. Well, it appears to me that you might be studying very linearly and not necessarily making all the connections with the material, which would help you actually remember the material.
Okay.
Well, and DMU has several services available to help you, including going to CASE in the CTL to talk to them about how you study, and they can make suggestions to help you be more efficient and effective in your study skills. Have you gone to meet with your anatomy instructors to review the material and discuss your problems?
Okay, but
I also think studying in a small group might be a nice thing for you to try the evening before the test. You could quiz each other and see the material from the other people's perspective. You might want to consider contacting student counseling too, because they can help you with any test anxiety you might have. And also there are anatomy tutors available through CASE.
okay. I could probably figure this all out on my own without all that help.
Okay, but I'm concerned by the time you do that, it might be too late. So I'm going to watch your anatomy scores. If your difficulty continues, we can meet again, and I will be in touch with you after next week's exam.
Okay, that sounds good.
All right.
Okay.
Thanks for coming in today.
Okay, so I know every program on campus has a little different way of dealing with academic issues and how we meet with their advisors and who talks to their advisor. But this is generally sort of my guideline. I don't think a student will listen to you on what you suggest if you don't have a relationship. More likely they'll fall back on what they feel comfortable with, which may not be successful and is obviously not successful. So I always suggest, and we do this in the DPT department, that you are meeting with your advisees on a regular basis. Now that doesn't mean every week. I usually meet with my advisor, we all meet with our advisors in the beginning of the year, sort of telling them, this is what I do. This is who I am, this is when you can come to me, this is when I'm going to call you in. If there are professional issues, academic issues, etc. So you have that baseline meeting. Then you need to follow your grades on your advisee, And that is sometimes more difficult in certain programs than others. We have our academic assistants, very great. She gives us our grades after tests, including anatomy, which is really out of our immediate DPT role. So you have to follow your advisee's grades. Now, you have to call them in when you feel concerned. And everyone is a little different on that. Like for me personally, if a person fails their first anatomy test, I'm a little okay with that. They've just got here, they've just started anatomy, they're overwhelmed. I'm going to just keep this on my radar. By number 2 test, now I'm a little bit more concerned, and they'll come in, I'll call them in to talk to me. I prefer to talk to them before they get that little letter from the APC, okay? And everybody does that a little bit differently on campus too. But that letter from this group, whoever this group is a little scary. I want to have a conversation with them on what's going on and how they're dealing with study habits and what they're doing before they get their letter. And number 3 always happens. Well, yeah, thank you, but I think I should take more time. And you have to really instill in them, you don't have any more time. You fail 2 tests, 2 exams, and again, depending on the course, and anatomy has a lot of exams, but other courses may not, you are on the road to having problems. So you have to instill in them that, no, we're changing. Whatever, we're going to do something different. You have to know what's out there that you can refer them to. And a lot of times before I refer, I'm doing some counseling too, and I feel comfortable doing that. I've taken some educational stuff, but if you don't feel comfortable, send them somewhere else if that's not your thing. The next point is really, really, really important, and probably I'm not that good at it. But students hear you talking, and then they leave, and then they lose some of it. So following with an email and saying, this is what we talked about, this is what we decided on you doing, you agreed to this, and I will talk to you, or I will follow up with you, or I'll be looking at your grades, and if we still have problems, you'll be seeing me again, is really important to have in writing. And then take that email and dump it in wherever you save information for your advisor. So if anything happens down the road legally, you can say, I told them, here it is. I gave them some kind of guidance. Students very often will not take your guidance, and that is why if you see a continued problem, you immediately have to get them in and say, what's the deal? Some of them will continue to not take your guidance, and just document, document, document. They're not doing what I'm saying, I suggested this, and then if they fail, you've done what you've done, and it's on the responsibility of them. They have to take half the load. You can only do so much.
Does the APC require them to do certain things, or are they just advising them?
Our ABC advises. I don't know.
It depends on the level of problem. At first, it's just advising, but it gets to the point where something has to be done, and then we make them responsible for it, and they have to answer to us or to the counselor or something like that. There's an accountability that gets formed.
If we're on probation and that kind of stuff, then we're putting usually remediation steps. But if you're in, I'm warning you, this is a problem, it's more in an advice situation.